I have no idea. Looks like I have to finish this game in one sitting. Maybe I'll ask my brother. Someone help me. What?
Fragile? The museum transports china?
Art is precious, my dear Watson, but it's true that this crate is a curious size. I'd say 3 feet 3 inches on 2 sides by 6 foot 6.
Where do you know that? Sophie, stop.
Oh, what a mess. Oh, what a mess.
Don't be rude. Sophie, shut up.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and welcome to the National Gallery of Painting. As it's such a lovely day outside, you're the only visitors at the moment, and likely will be for the whole day. The minimum number of people for a guided tour is...
We're not here to visit the museum, young man. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend
There's
and
2
colleague,
people
Dr.
right there.
Watson.
Sherlock Holmes, the famous detective?
Indeed, I have reason to believe that a theft is being planned that will take place here, perhaps as early as today.
A robbery?
I'm not certain, but there is a good reason to believe that is the case. We have contacted Inspector Lestrade at Scotland Yard, and he should be joining us momentarily. Meanwhile, rest assured that we are here in an official capacity. In the meantime, you can certainly help us. One of the paintings will play a part in the matter, but I don't yet know exactly which one. I do, however, have a few clues that should tell something to a specialist like yourself.
Ah, yes, of course. As it happens, I've only been working here for 3 days. Actually, I'm an apprentice, and my duties here are essentially administrative.
Nice side part.
Pray tell, would I be correct in deducing that the elder of the 2 men that we can see up there is the director of the museum?
Yes, that is Sir Pointer. He could certainly assist you better than I, but at the moment he's terribly occupied.
Okay, well,
and
Sir
will be
Pointer,
for
you're gonna
some
be
time.
robbed.
But the location that you are proposing is unworthy of my work. All of my
Good luck,
pieces
son.
are hymns to color and light. It's the very stars, the sun that you want to extinguish.
Please understand, dear sir, the entrance hall is reserved for temporary exhibitions. We are able to add more lighting.
In that case, you would have to provide lanterns across the whole length of the ceiling, and to use the most refined oil possible. Definitely not gas. And mirrors to reflect the light, along with some canvases in basic colors to bring out the
This
contrast.
man makes me
We
angry.
will do all that we possibly can.
Nevertheless, I insist that a number of my works must be on the main floor next to the
The accent
large
is
pieces.
just-
But our rooms are already full, and, as you know, each has its specific subject. Too much modernism?
How can there be too much modernism? Modernism doesn't exist. Only
Nice.
art exists. Art is timeless. Art is cosmic.
Well, sir, perhaps we should continue this conversation in my office.
Or I could kill you.
Then you must certainly have a ledger of the works that are shown in the museum, with a description of each painting.
Yes, Sir Pointer entrusted it to my care this morning so I could
Oh, you
familiarize myself
absolute
with the
buffoon.
collection, but I lost it. I know I make a rather feeble archivist, but while I was doing a tour of the museum, the painting that Mr. Pointer is now dealing with arrived, along with cases full of canvases that he had to quickly inventory.
The case of the missing ledger. What do you make of it, Watson? Listen, Mr.
Palinur, sir.
Palinor, my friend and I will make our way through the museum in order to find the ledger. If you lost it while touring the museum and it wasn't back on the desk, then it must be in...
Certainly, sir. With many thanks.
Tell me, young man, would you happen to have a blueprint of the building in order to facilitate the task at hand?
Ah, yes, yes. Where did I put it?
Simp.
Farewell, Palinor.
Clean up. Nice.
Oh, what a mess.
Yeah, let me in. We're gonna go straight.
Ah, Venice.
Art? More like fart.
The Gallery of Italian Works.
Do you mind?
Closed.
Bro, get on my way.
The Flemish artists are found.
What's up, Phlegm? Look at you.
Dutch Gallery.
Get out of my way. Oh! Jesus Christ.
English Painters Hall. There, it seems that we found the famous ledger. It's written in shorthand, and there are hundreds of it.
Let's not. Let's say we don't.
Closed.
I'm just having fun, you know? Oh, it's just a big old circle.
I said I didn't want to be disturbed.
You didn't say that.
The painter who was conversing with the director has such character, to the point of taking some of it out on this poor plant.
Any footprints? Closed.
Closed.
What's this?
Yes, Mr. Holmes?
What?
Farewell, Palinor.
Do I have to, like, physically give it to him? What?
Yes, Mr. Holmes?
Give him the thingy.
Farewell, Palinor.
What the heck? What? Okay, what? Oh.
Yes, Mr. Holmes?
Here is your ledger, my
see.
friend.
You found it! Many thanks. You won't say anything to
Let's
Sir
see.
Pointer.
Rest assured, are you familiar with how the entries are written? Everything seems to be abbreviated.
I understand how to locate a thematic group and how to read a description, but I am struggling with the location codes.
It's better than nothing at the moment. We're searching for a painting that has a connection to the Battle of Trafalgar.
Depicting what exactly?
According to this poem, it could be...
Oh well. I don't know, the tree?
Are you sure? It means nothing to me, Mr. Holmes. Are you sure? Are you sure? It means nothing.
Admiral Villeneuve?
Are you sure? It means nothing.
French fleet?
Are you sure? It means nothing. Yes, Mr. Holmes?
It might refer to a boat. Its master was Admiral Nelson, and the thief wanted to run it aground. Moreover, the boat would have a French name.
Wait, I have a suggestion. A very popular painting, symbolic even, the Fighting Temeraire, a Turner. In this painting, Turner is described as having mastered painting techniques, and it is one of the most beautiful English paintings of all time. The subject, a boat by the French name of Temeraire, was involved in the Battle of Trafalgar and distinguished itself by protecting Victory, the flagship on board which was...
Victory, did you say?
Yes, Admiral Nelson was on board. Temeraire received a special distinction, but I am not certain of which. The painting shows it being towed to the breaker's yard, I believe.
Where would I find it?
I don't know.
My thanks, Palinor. Come. English Painters Hall. A terrible naval battle scene by Ludolf Bashuizen. Dutch Gallery.
Move.
Here's what I've been looking for.
It's kind of ugly.
The Fighting Temeraire. Splendid. What do you think?
I agree, it's splendid. The existence of this painting would seem to give credit to this whole affair.
As long as this painting remains on this wall, this letter, even if it is eloquent and provocative, is nothing more than a letter. It is possible that all of this could be a hoax with no substance whatsoever. We will know soon enough, as the theft will have to take place tonight.
We must warn the museum's director, Holmes.
You are correct, Watson. Shall we?
Fantastic! Superb!
There, Maestro. I believe that everything is settled.
This collaboration will be my crowning glory, my masterpiece. Merci.
I have finished the inventory of the works of art, Director. Oh, and I have the pleasure of introducing the great detective Sherlock Holmes and his companion, Dr. Watson.
Good day, gentlemen. It's with pleasure that I welcome you to our gallery. I trust that you are here for pleasure and not business.
I'm afraid that is not the case.
Oh,
When it is no longer a matter of art, the artist must make
Okay, shut up.
my apologies, gentlemen. Have you been waiting long?
Mr. Palinor was able to answer all of our most urgent questions. Tell me, who was that man who just left?
That was Horace Valmont, a French painter.
Almost Horatio.
One of the best, seemingly. His letters of recommendation come from some of the grandest salons in Paris.
A Frenchman? Let's take a look, Watson.
Yes, he's very avant-garde. He heard that we were showing the works of modern painters during our temporary exhibitions. He has loaned us a number of paintings and has promised to donate those that have the greatest success to the museum.
Lestrade, just in time. And the Frenchman, Watson?
Gone?
Director, this is Inspector Lestrade from Scotland Yard. Lestrade, this is the Director of the National Gallery, Sir Pointer, and his assistant, Mr. Palinor. Lestrade, would you have your constable on duty guard the entrance and make sure that nobody comes into the museum? Director, is there anything else?
No, but
If
You
you
didn't even
care to
tell
follow
him.
me, I'll show you what the motivation
Oh.
behind all of this is.
Nice.
The reason for this little gathering is this letter that I received at my lodgings this morning. Without getting into too much detail, it claims that this painting, The Fighting Temeraire, will be stolen tonight.
pardon?
There now. It's because of a letter that you've disturbed me. You believe that?
I would never have taken the liberty to disturb you if this letter, the authenticity of which I must admit hasn't been completely confirmed, was not written by the one and only Arsène Lupin.
Arsène Lupin?
Arsène Lupin?
Us? Arsenal? Who? Lou? What?
Arsène Lupin, the most wanted cat burglar in the world. We will know soon enough whether or not this letter is a fake, or if I had reason to disturb you, Lestrade. But you must understand that we couldn't take even the slightest chance.
Perhaps. Why not simply put this thing under lock and key in the bank or at Scotland Yard?
We cannot risk storing the painting in an improper environment or to entrust it to anyone who calls it a thing.
All that would achieve would be to shift the problem. This painting is priceless. Beware he who would harm it. What I propose, Lestrade, is to do a tour of the museum with Sir Pointer in order to check any possible points of break and entry, and leave 2 men on duty here tonight. In addition, Director, you must close the museum to the public and not let anyone else in.
If you feel it's necessary.
And you, Holmes?
I'll pass by tomorrow at dawn. We'll know then what we're up against. Should the unthinkable have occurred, I insist that nothing is touched until I arrive. Is that clear? Let's be off, Watson.
Listen, Inspector, I have a lot of work to take care of. It would be better if I leave you to do a tour by yourself. You are, after all, a professional. Here are the keys to all of the locked doors. If you need me, I'll be in my office.
Well, I best inspect the museum to find any of Lupin's possible exits, including mice holes.
That's how you save.
Nothing to report. No exits on this side. Nothing to report. It's dark in this box room. Good. No windows, no possible entry.
There is a possible entry. If someone wanted to descend from the roof here,
Why did that scare me
you'd need
so
a lot
bad?
of time, and it wouldn't be a quiet business. But I'd be wise to leave a man on duty here, and he will signal the alarm at any suspicious movement coming from the roof. Arsène Lupin. It's you and I now.
Let's shut my hands.
No exits on this side. Nothing to report.
Look, just make sure this is locked.
No exits on this side. Nothing to report. No exits on this side. Nothing to report.
That's me.
No exits on this side. Nothing to report. Don't get a headache from thinking too hard. I will make sure there are no windows and therefore ways in. Here.
Do your work. I will draw a map for you, Inspector.
We need a cannon to force this door down. The lock is too big to be jimmied, and I'll leave a man on duty in place. If Lupin does come, it won't be that way. Wait for tonight. There. The director and his underling have left. Time for us to play now. It could be that this whole robbery is nothing but nonsense. If not, we're prepared. And this Lupin will play right into our hands. I'll lock the main door to the museum, and you will be locked in. Jeffries is on duty in Trafalgar Square, and the yard is nearby. Nothing to worry about there. The doors leading in will be locked, but you will each have everything you need to open them. Stay hidden and cover your light so you cannot be seen from the roof. You, Lockhart, will be stationed near the painting itself. At the least provocation, go down to the entrance and sound the alarm. The walls are too thick, so you will have to go down for your whistle to be heard. In case of real trouble, be sure to fire with deadly accuracy, because if you even graze one of the paintings, your great-grandchildren will still be paying off your debts. Finally, you'll just have to be content with your lanterns. Gas is too expensive. Let's go, men. Keep your wits about you. You'll be relieved at 4 a.m.
Something bed sheets. Where did that come from, though? Stop breathing in. It's so bright. Where does that even come from? The windows aren't open. What?
Go on, you cantankerous codger. You have work to do.
You're right, Holmes. The constable below was indeed asked to deliver us a letter. It's from Lestrade.
Nothing good can come from such urgency.
Indeed, Holmes. This time, without doubt, the painting has disappeared. According to what he's written, they've turned the National Gallery upside down looking for it. Our presence is required immediately.
Well, Watson, the game is afoot.
Should we not have enlisted more men from the force to protect the painting?
I think that a whole brigade could not have stopped Lupin. And, of course, we can now be certain that it was he who was behind the theft. First and foremost, the police have a city and lives to protect, and we must respect that. Watson, a hansom will be hard to find at this hour, and Billy, our page, is sick. Would you be so good as to flag one down while I take a moment to reread this letter?
Yesterday, I was a doctor, and now I become a valet.
Got a light?
No, sorry.
Is it Sherlock Holmes who lives in these digs here?
Indeed.
Know him?
I do have that honour. I have been of some assistance to him on occasion. Like locating hansoms, for instance.
I say, you're his valet. So tell me, does your master pay well then?
But
I bet you're not above winning a bob or two, am I right? Listen, my friend, word has it that your boss is going to have a right fright tonight at the Picture Museum.
How?
Shh, listen, my good man. If you want to fill your pockets, here's my card. Piers
Look at what you're
Burkett
wearing
Allen.
compared to what
That's
I'm
my name.
wearing.
Independent reporter's the game. Spill the beans about his biz, and I'll pay you well. Look for me in one of the pubs round here. You can't miss me.
He's at the Golden
If
Lion.
Holmes finds out that the press is onto this business, he'll be in an explosive mood. Best to avoid speaking about it.
I'm gonna talk to this guy.
No, I have nothing to ask him.
Weird.
Ha! A hansom. Now to find Holmes and make our way to the National Gallery.
You've arrived at last, Holmes. We haven't touched anything while we were waiting, except for a ladder which we needed to climb onto the roof. You must have received my message. The painting was stolen.
I thought we were coming back at dawn.
Did your men see anything?
To tell you the truth, barely anything. There was nothing they could do. The only thing we know for certain is there were two people of athletic build who perpetrated this crime. We don't know if the burglars stole
How do you know
anything
that?
other than the painting in question, as they completely redecorated the museum with the paintings of a French artist that were at the entrance to the museum. The paintings that were on the walls are now crammed in the director's office.
That's funny.
Did your men see anything?
Oops.
We don't.
Do you have any idea what happened?
Well, not really. I haven't managed to figure it out. We know that the two men exited through the window in the restoration workshop, and that the second man entered through there. But the first man was already in the
The weird
museum
guy with
before
the-
his accomplice. Yet I had a man in the restoration workshop all yesterday afternoon, and he only left for a minute in order to hear my orders. At no time could the first man have entered through the window. We would have either seen or heard him. The men on the premises confirm they didn't see anyone pass through the entrance until the alarm was sounded. And those two are the only possibilities. How did this man get into the museum, I ask you?
When you have eliminated the impossible, Lestrade, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Where are the director and his assistant?
They're both in the office. Go gently with the director. He's close to having a fit. By the way, I noticed some traces of paint or something all over.
Tree?
I've asked everyone to avoid trampling on them until you've had a chance to examine them.
You're making wonderful progress, Lestrade.
Well, I'll go question the neighbors to see if anyone might have seen a 17th century boat descend from the roof.
Watson, accompany Inspector Lestrade. Check out the roof and help out with the interrogations.
You can count on me.